Let's go live. Hello, hello, hello. There's my mic. Where's your mic? There's your mic. Want to talk
My
over?
my mic is right here. It's
Yeah,
right, right here.
yeah.
It's right.
I see your pins there, and I just it reminded me that I've just been rewatching Ted Lasso
Yeah.
recently, and I love that show. Like anything produced by Bill Lawrence, just get it in my veins. Like, what a time to be a Bill Lawrence fan between Ted Lasso, Shrinking, Scrubs comes back tonight. Um,
Yep.
he's got that new Steve Carell show on HBO Max with Jamie Tart called Rooster. Um,
hmm
yeah, it's a great time to be Bill Lawrence or Bill Lawrence fan. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone that has like a talent or a knack for storytelling, like tend to, if they're lucky, get their time in the sun. And right
yeah,
now is his.
I mean he's
So
been in the sun for 25 years. Like Spin City,
yeah,
Scrubs. Like he hasn't really been. He never really went away. It's just he's really thriving right now with the Apple TV uh, mental health focused positive shows. So,
yeah.
but we
Well,
talked about that last week.
yeah. But like that's kind of what I meant though. Like right now, it's really concentrated for him.
Mm-hmm.
So like, right now is his like I don't know maybe plateau moment possibly with
Yeah,
like everything coming back. So
yeah. All right, let's uh
good for
let's get into today's main topic or today's
him. Okay.
show, shall we? Hey everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And Devin cannot be joining us today, but welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. Each week we make each other watch movies one of us has never seen before. This week we kind of changed it up a little bit and are going to be talking about Predator Badlands, which is a movie that just came out a few months ago. So we're going to be deep diving into that. Ryan is our resident Predator expert slash fan. So I'm really curious to hear what his thoughts are on this. But before we get into that, we like to talk about things that we've watched in the last week in pop culture, just to catch up on, see what we're watching in a segment we call "We Watched This." And we haven't really besides TV shows like that I've already talked about last week, like Shrinking and um, The Pit. Like I haven't really been watching much.
Yeah.
But I have been spending time at the hospital with my son, who it's going to be 4 months old on Sunday, which is bizarre to me. Um, but he's really fond of musicals. Like he likes music and musicals. Um, so I was trying to find something that wasn't Disney for him. So I exited Disney Plus and went to HBO Max, and I put on not Peconia, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Um, so when's the last time you watched the classic Gene Wilder Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
I watched like the first 45 minutes of it like 6 months ago because I
Okay.
tried to like watch it before going to bed and I didn't realize how late it was and I can't stay up later than like 12:30 at night. I was like I gotta go to bed.
Well,
I was like,
that well that works out perfectly for what I want to talk about today, because what I want to talk about deals with the first 45 minutes of this movie. Uh, if you've been on the internet, there is a uh, section of the internet that hates Grandpa Joe. Um,
yeah, definitely.
and every time I watch this movie now, that's all I can think of. And I come up with new reasons for not liking Grandpa Joe.
Yeah,
Um, so he's been bedridden for 20 years.
yeah.
Um, and the family's barely getting by having to eat cabbage soup, which is just watered down cabbage. Um, And then it takes Charlie getting a job and actually bringing in some more money for him to be like, oh no, I'm finally quitting. I'm going to quit tobacco now. So I'm not taking your money. I'm like, you've been bedridden for 20 years. You're just now quitting. But the biggest problem I have is Charlie gets the golden ticket, comes back to the house. Grandpa gets out of bed, and what does he do? He doesn't sing a song that's "We've got a golden ticket." It's "I've got a golden ticket." Like he's just taking all the credit for Charlie's win of the golden ticket. I'm like, dude, come on, like.
Well, I mean, in a sense. I mean, first off, I agree with you. I can't stand like it's the character is meant to be a jerk. When you really look at it, his actions and everything, he's a jerk, and he's like the villain of the family. But I could see where Grandpa Joe would rationalize it to himself, where it was like, if it wasn't for him, being Grandpa Joe and earning the title Grandpa, then there wouldn't be a golden ticket in the family.
Yeah.
In a sense. But, I mean, yeah, no, that's just, the character in himself is laughable. Because like you said, he's bedridden for 20 years. The grandson, like, gets is lucky enough to get the ticket, and Grandpa Joe just all of a sudden, after 20 years of being like bedridden, jumps out of bed and starts dancing and singing, and like he's perfectly fine. And it's like, dude, you could have been in the coal like pits, like earning money. Like you should get back to work.
Yeah. All right. That being said, Grandpa Joe aside, movie still holds up. Gene Wilder's fantastic. I made the mistake of, like, when the movie was over, Blazing Saddles was on HBO, and the nurse came in. I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have watched this, because it was the scene where the sheriff comes to town, and I was like, yeah, this he's asleep, but the nurses aren't, so like they're gonna be confused by.
Were you wearing phones?
No.
Okay, so you were just playing it over the main speaker.
I was playing it over the speaker remote thing in the room.
Okay. Well, here's my thing about Blazing Saddles. People can be upset with it. That's fine. I get it. But it's making fun of the townfolk. It's making fun of the ignorant.
Yes.
It just doesn't sound that way out of context.
Yeah, exactly. Out of context, any Mel Brooks out of context is not great. Like, I had students. One of my students brought up The Producers the one day.
Yeah.
And was talking about like out of context, just Springtime for Hitler. It's like, okay, you can't be talking about this out of context. Like, you have to explain to everyone what that song is, because otherwise it doesn't sound great for you, dude. Like, so.
Well, yeah, it's funny stuff. Yeah. I absolutely love Mel Brooks.
Oh yeah, I do too. Have you watched the documentary on him?
I saw the first part of it. I haven't watched the second, because it's 2 parts, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I've only seen the first half of it. And honestly, I've never really given a thought about who he is as a person, because I tend to have kind of like a hands-off approach to like media people who I either like or admire for the stuff that they do. But given the type of comedy that he's put out, the time frame that he lived, the type of person that they paint, kind of show of like who he was as a person in the first part doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I read his autobiography, and it was fantastic. So I'm excited to watch that and just see like some interviews with him, because I think he dives into some stuff that he doesn't even talk about in his book. So, all right, let's get into today's main topic: the 2025 film Predator: Badlands. Um, let's see here. Predator Badlands tells the story of a young predator outcast from his clan who finds an unlikely ally on his journey in search for the ultimate adversary. This movie came out back in November. It's from the director of Prey, Dan Trachtenberg. A little bit of history of Predator on You Have to Watch This podcast. I think we've watched every Predator film on this podcast. At one
think
point or another.
yeah, I think the only one that we haven't done or that we haven't um talked about in depth is Killer of Killers.
Yes, we did talk about that.
That's the animated one.
Well, that's the other one that came out last year.
Yeah.
Which I did watch. Did we not do that for the show?
I thought it was part of like a multi it was like a multi thing we did for the episode. Like
Okay.
we talked about it along with other ones. I think because I remember Devin and I had the weird kind of back and forth where Devin thought it was a show and I was like, "No, it's not a show." And he was like, "Oh, no, it's definitely a show." And then I just didn't counter that. I just was like, "Okay, whatever." And like that interaction happened about it that I remember, but I know
Yeah.
I know it came up in like in some context, but I don't think we dedicated a whole
Yeah,
episode
it
to
doesn't
it.
look like we did. That's okay.
But he also worked on
Um,
that one too.
my gosh, our Kate and Leopold episode blew up compared to our other episodes. I'm just looking back. I think we did talk about Predator, Killer of Killers, but this is the live action movie that came out last year.
Mhm.
It you are closer to the Predator franchise than I am. What were your
Yeah.
initial thoughts going into this, and what did you think of the movie overall?
Okay. So going into this movie, I stayed away from it initially, mainly because of I was disappointed in the character design of him. I really was. And there wasn't any context in any of the trailers that I saw that would like kind of explain the way that he looked. And there was around the time that the trailers for this were coming out, there was a lot of talk on my news feed on social media anyway because of the way that the algorithms work. On my feed particularly, a lot of the people that I follow were talking about how 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 and why like CG animation in movies just don't seem to hold up really nowadays compared to where they had before. And so, even though none of them were talking about this movie specifically from the trailers, I was making that connection myself. And I was like, "Ah, this is just one of those things where they're just trying to save money, or they're using, some, or they outsource some type of program to like do his character design." And I was like, eventually I'll see it. I don't know when, but I'm not gonna like make it a point to go see this. Um, so that was my overall feeling about this before going into it. Um, took me about 45 minutes to get used to it, but then after I got but then after I got what they were trying to do in this, it was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. Um, I don't know if I'm going to add this to my physical media collection for the Predator series. Um, but it's one that I wouldn't say no to watching it again. I just don't know if I'm ever the one that's going to make that decision to watch this again. But I
Okay.
wouldn't say no if someone else wanted to.
Okay. Um, yeah, I enjoyed this. Like I said before, I've been a big fan of Dan Trachtenberg for a long time. Um,
Yeah.
going all the way back to college, where I stumbled upon his Portal short film that he did in 2011. before 10 Cloverfield Lane came out. Like, I've always liked his work, and whenever I see his name attached to something, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And he's done a lot with the Predator franchise in the last 5 years.
Mhm.
Working on Prey and Predator, Killer of Killers. Um, so I wasn't sure what to expect from. Like I knew from the character design and some things that I saw and read that the character design is because he's a younger predator out for his first hunt. It's like, okay, so I can
Yeah.
accept like the design being a little bit different from what we're used to. I think the
Mhm.
movie does a really interesting thing of stripping him of his weapons, especially as a younger
Yeah.
predator, and like taking away that. It's like taking away Batman's utility belt. Like he's not going to have what you're used to a predator having. Um,
Mhm.
so it shows him as um, like bare bones. What are they called? The Yaja?
Yaja. Yeah.
Yeah. Showing the predator species bare bones, like with it. And what's also interesting is that it does what Terminator 2 does and flips the script where he's the protagonist now. He's not the antagonist. He's not
Yeah.
hunting the main character. He is the main character. This, which is like a first for the Predator franchise, and I think it's a very interesting take on it. Like it worked for me, but I can see why it may not have worked for other people because this they didn't do very well at the box
No.
office. It had a budget of 105 million. In the U.S. In Canada, it only grossed 91 million. It made 184 million worldwide. So it's definitely not a flop, but I don't think it's the hit that Disney wanted it to be.
No. Well,
Um,
that's where as someone that was kind of like not interested in this from like kind of the get go, and then actually watching it, like it took me like I posted on Facebook 45 minutes in, like this is supposed to be a comedy, right?
yeah,
Because nothing in the trailer, nothing in the advertisement for this led me to believe that this was going to be that whatever story this was going to be, it was going to be a little bit lighthearted. Like there was going to be a decent amount of humor in it. I wasn't expecting any of that at all. And I thought that the Shane Black The Predator movie was like uh uh was going to be like the only like quote unquote comedy in the series. Because Shane Black was pretty much like, I'm just gonna take the lore and just be a fan and make my own thing.
hmm
And there's a lot of hate for that out there. I'm definitely not someone that has hate for it. I love that version of the Predator because it's just for fun.
yeah,
Um, but this though, it took me a little bit to like you take the dynamic of like this is a pretty heavy situation. Like this character is like trying to honor his fallen brother, prove his father wrong, and get revenge, and then at the same time prove that he's worthy enough to basically be part of his clan. Um, and then getting the honor that he feels that he deserves after basically being called a runt his whole life.
yeah,
And you also learn in this movie that like the predators like they kill off their weaklings in their family and in their clan. And the father makes a comment about how like you should have been like taken care of a long time ago. So like there's a lot of really heavy stuff going on in this movie, but then you have this like the comic chatterbox sidekick robot that's a
yeah.
Wayland Yutani robot, which crosses over the Alien franchise perfectly in this. Um, which and then you've got that other thing that shows up that becomes like their friend. Um,
hmm
and there was just a weird dynamic that like I needed to settle into because I wasn't expecting any of that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I was watching it with my wife, with Kristen, and I remember looking over to her at one point. I think it was maybe like 30 minutes in, and I'm like, you can really tell this is a Disney movie. You can really
You
tell.
really can, because I saw your post on Facebook, and you were talking about how you can tell that it's Disney, and
Yeah.
I feel like the Shane Black influence is definitely there for this movie, because
Hmm.
that's kind of what it felt like. It felt very much like a buddy road comedy with
Hmm.
in the Alien Predator universe. Um, but yeah, it kind of like it. There is this Disney formula where it's the warrior taking in the unlikely sidekick, and then
Yeah.
traveling together to survive and escape this hellscape.
Hmm. Yeah. That's what
Only
it
this
is.
time, instead of a baby Yoda, it's Elle Fanning. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Pretty much.
but it's not. It's not necessarily just a Disney thing, because that's just like the Mandalorian thing goes back to like Kurosawa too. So it's like a story that's always been told.
True, true. But at the same time, like, what was Disney to me? Was the combination of the Chatterbox robot with the pug-looking alien
Okay.
baby thing that they
Yeah.
come across, and like the friendship it gets, or maybe this was probably more like 40 to 45 minutes in, but like when they're getting the campsite ready and they show that really cool thing where he uses his own blood as like a heat and light source. I thought that was really cool. Like they really showed how some of their technology like actually works, and I really want to know more about how their blood works with is with their tech. But um and the fact that the thing with its pug face and reptile skin body thing was like mimicking him.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment where I'm like, okay, so you've got the robot that won't shut up and is like the most bubbliest thing I've seen in a movie in like at least the last few months. And then you've got this, like pet that's mimicking the predator, and he doesn't like he's doing this out of necessity. If it was up to him, he would have just left both of them
Mm-hmm.
like alone, but but like he needs them. And that's where I'm like, okay, this is the Disney influence in the storyline with the like uh inside this movie. And that's where like that comment was coming from when it
Okay.
comes to like you can really tell that, like, to me anyway, that like this is like a
Well,
Disney thing.
well, and the other thing is like it's combining the two franchises officially. Like
Yeah, with her, which
time
is great.
with her. It's
Hmm.
way in the future of anything we've seen in either franchise from this, like at this point. So it
Hmm.
doesn't really mess with the timelines of anything. Um, but it officially brings Alien and Predators together under the Disney Corporation. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I get the sense from some of the interviews I read with Dan Trachtenberg that the plan was to set up another Alien versus Predator down the line and do it. I don't want to say do it right this time, but do it right this time. Make it officially what it was intended to be.
Yeah.
Um,
The only thing wrong with the first Alien Predator movie, again, as a fan of both franchises, and just being one of these people that's just like, give me the movie, like I will find things to enjoy in it. Just just give me the media. As one of those type of fans, what they did wrong in the first Alien Predator movie is that is when they set the movie, the time and place they set it, because they set it in like the time when the movie came out. They didn't
yeah,
like do it 40 years in the future, where they should have done it like 150 years in the future. Like, it's like you go in to see the movie and it's the year like 2002 or 1999 or whenever that
Yeah.
movie came out. I can't remember exactly the year, but like let's say it was like 2002. You go in and like it tells you in the year 2045 this happens. Or maybe let's say, well, actually no, that's too soon. Like the year, let's like 2206, something after the events of like Aliens 2 on Earth, and like you can still have it be the North Pole or wherever that Alaska. I can't even remember what island or landmass that movie took part on, but I try not to talk about Requiem. I
Yeah.
try not to. uh, Al- Aliens brought to you by Warner
Yeah.
Brothers, by the WB.
Um, so one of the one of the things that I described this movie as afterwards was it got to the point at the end where it felt like Dan Trachtenberg was reached into his toy box, grabbed an alien toy, and threw it in with like a bunch of the Predator stuff,
Yeah,
and like seeing a Wayland Utani. I don't want to say replicant because replicant
synth.
synth. Seeing a synth with
Yeah.
the Predator laser in one of the mech suits from Alien, I'm like, okay, now that's cool. Like if you're this is what you're
Mhm.
giving me, like, okay, like I am all on board for this.
Yeah.
Because it just felt
Yeah.
like that's something I would love to do is like be able to play with the franchises I grew up with and combine them together so you get like the Power Rangers teaming up with the Ninja Turtles to fight Lord Zed and
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, this is where I've got like, this is where again I said that that like I will at some point probably be end up watching this movie again. I just don't know exactly when I'm ever going to have that want to watch it again. But definitely, if someone else wanted to watch it, I wouldn't say no. Like at the same time, and the reason being that for all of the stuff that I kind of like rolled my eyes at, was a little disappointed in, there were other things that I really liked that had to do with furthering with extending the franchise out. So
Mm-hmm.
bringing a synth into it with the Wayland Utoni symbol, like front and center, so that that like, hey, we're officially crossing over these franchises. Like we are officially right now doing this. So that I really liked. I liked how they expanded the actual universe itself that these stories are taking part in by going to a planet no one's been to before and just letting the writers and the like the creature design team create a whole alien planet that was
Yeah.
like it's like let's try to make the deadliest planet that they can think of, which I was a little bit upset. And this is again the whole back and forth. You're talking about like a super death planet, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I would say even though this planet was ridiculous, like like meat-eating trees or vines, all of the different creatures in this, the weird plants, I would rather attempt to live or to stay alive for 30 minutes where I couldn't stay in one spot. I had to, like travel. I had to, like move. I had to move around. I couldn't just find a safe spot and like hunker down. I
Yeah.
would rather spend an hour on that planet than spend a minute on the planet from Covenant, from Alien Covenant, with the weird spore fungus thing
Yeah.
that like infected you. I would say that I would say that was a deadlier planet,
Mm-hmm.
but I get what they were trying to go for, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but they did so much to expand the lore of the species, their culture, They did a lot to cross over the Predator franchise with the Alien franchise. There's a lot in here that I really appreciate, and I'm really hopeful for further down the line for other movies.
Yeah.
Um, there's just it's the 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 things that made me roll my eyes a little bit or kind of like be a tiny bit disappointed. And like I get that he's supposed to be like a runt, like a weakling. Like he's not supposed to be as like physically like intimidating as like the Predator from Predator 1 to the Predators the rest of the movies. It's just you would think with a species that even with a runt that is as tough as they are, that he could survive a full-blown, full-speed crash landing from ejecting out of a spaceship and be fine without a parachute. Um, that you would think that the skin would be tough enough
Yeah.
that when they would take a normal breath, the like skin flaps where the claws are around their mouth wasn't fluctuating with every breath he was taking. Like it's little things like that I'm like, you're talking about something that's supposed to have like tank armor for skin. I
Yeah.
don't think that would be fluttering in the wind with a little tiny breath. But I'm I'm neurotic, so you know.
Um, one of my favorite thing about this movie was spoiled by the trailer. Do you know what
No,
it is?
sucks. I was spoiled by the trailer.
It's not
Unfortunately, no, I can't really.
okay. It's the infamous Predator wall of trophies that we've seen since Predator 2. All the
Oh,
skulls in
okay.
the ship.
Yeah.
There's one there in particular that I want to talk about, but
Okay.
did you pick up on anything in that shot? The few shots that we got there.
Well, I saw was it I saw a human skull. I saw a
It's a
dinosaur
human skull.
skull.
The dinosaur T Rex. Yeah.
Yeah, T-Rex. Um, I
Your mic cut out. Yeah. While Ryan's fixing that, I will say that front and center of there we go. Front and center of that scene is a harvester skull from Independence Day. So
I thought
yeah, one of
was.
these guys.
I thought that. Yeah, I thought that's what that was.
Um,
Um,
which they Fox owned, like 20th Century owns Independence Day. So are we gonna get a Alien versus Predator versus Independence Day?
okay, so. Oh God, I don't know. I would be fine with it if it was like in a video game or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't. Well, I'm trying to think of the world that aliens and predators and like Wayland Utoni is in, and I'm trying to think if like a massive alien invasion in the 1990s fits in that
it
world.
doesn't. It
If they,
doesn't at
yeah,
all.
okay, yeah,
No,
okay.
especially after, especially after Independence Day Resurgence, it doesn't fit at all. But
Yeah,
we're talking about Disney here, and
yeah.
they're very big on the multiverse and on the side of Marvel things. So my
Hmm.
take is, um, Independence Day is in its own universe where all of that happened, but the
Okay.
aliens still exist in this universe, so they're still out there. So you could do a crossover where Independence Day hasn't happened here, so you could get Alien versus Predator versus Jeff Goldblum and Judd Hirsch. Like that's what I want to see. Like in hell, bring back Will Smith. Like this is your perfect opportunity to redeem Independence Day Resurgence. Like bring back Will Smith, bring back Jeff Goldblum, bring back Brent Spiner. Like you can do it right, guys.
Oh, that would be funny.
Yeah. Even if it's just a comic book, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like comic book, video game, like if they would want to like bring in the harvesters and have like watch the harvesters deal with a species that they can't, like they can kind of handle. I that that would be interesting. Either be the either one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, so I probably sound like an idiot. Be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's what that was." Like, no, I, I remember seeing it, thinking to myself, "Is that it's like, is that a skull from the aliens from Independence Day?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, maybe." I was like, "Maybe," or maybe it just looks the same, and then I just kind of like moved on with it. That's,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
It looks like there might be a engineer subspecies skull in there. Some kind
Well,
of
I mean,
reptile, some
that
kind
would
of
make
super
sense.
gorilla. It would.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there like the Independence Day crossover was in the trailer. Um,
Okay.
so I was a little
So,
bit worried about the future of Predator after this, because Jan
okay.
Trachtenberg, who's been running the franchise for the last few years now, has signed a deal with Paramount, who is not in charge of the Predator franchise. Um,
Okay.
but it looks like he's going to be able to do both. Um,
Okay.
so he's going to be doing a simultaneous thing, working with the Predator franchise, and then also doing his own original stuff at Paramount, which I am very
Okay.
excited about because I think he's a very strong filmmaker that we have going right now. So
Yeah.
I'm all
Well, I mean,
for it.
and that's kind of best of both worlds. Like he has one company that he can like play in the sandbox, and then he has another one where it's kind of like his office, like 9 to 5 thing, where he has to kind of like stay within the lines a little bit. Because I mean, like even though this, like I'm still kind of like wishy-washy on this movie a little bit, I'm still excited about where it's going because of the stuff that I really did enjoy, like on first viewing of this movie. Like it's going. I think Prey and Killer of Killers are both excellent. Um, I mean, Prey more than Killer of Killers, but still, that I mean, they're still really good.
Yeah.
Um, and in this one, like I said before, like on first watch, I just wasn't expecting this to be as funny as it was. And with the way that this movie starts off, I was expecting way more of a darker tone
Oh
than
yeah.
how this movie eventually, like, like went on. I mean, you get to a point, and this is spoilers, but whatever. The rest of the movie, like his brother dies protecting him, and that's what sets him off to do like revenge against his father. And that's how the movie starts off. It's really dark. It's really grim. It's a very traumatic experience for him. And then by later in the movie, he has the butt weasel from Dreamcatcher on his shoulder spitting acid, and he's feeding it treats out of his hand after it's done its thing. And it's like, yes, those two scenes happened in the same movie.
Yeah.
And that's why it took me 45 minutes to be like, okay, I get it. I get
It,
it.
it's really interesting to see him like adapt to like surviving on this planet in a way that he wouldn't have known how to do if it wasn't for um, Thea, like the
Yeah.
robot. Um, he does a really the movie does a really good job of showing him adapting to survive after uh, they have this rift where he finds out that she was there on the planet hunting the same thing he is, and
Yeah.
she kind of sets him up to get back to her legs because they do this
That-
whole thing where she doesn't have legs for the whole movie. Every time I saw it, I was like, Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. Like,
yeah.
um, so they have a rift, but then he ends up going back to help her because she helps him escape being captured.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's the point where he starts surviving and working with Bud, the little dog-looking thing that's with him.
Yeah.
And because he figures out that that's the child of the creature he was there to kill. So he's able to use him to help capture, rescue Thea, and then Thea has an evil twin. So it's
So my headcanon with being a person that was like 10 years old in 1995 is Thea, at least the bottom part of her, in the time between being being taken apart, whenever they get back to Earth, something happens on the way back to Earth, and they end up going back in time, and she ends up, her bottom half anyway, ends up getting the role as the mom in Cow and Chicken.
okay.
The one where the parents, like, you never see them below the hip, like they're just
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that was again a moment that's just comical. Every time they show like he frees her bottom half, and it gets up and it walks towards the base, and he's just following the legs, and he's
Yeah.
using the legs as a distraction to like kind of like come behind so that he can take out the guards as the guards are distracted by this pair of legs just running, legs and hips just running into the base.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite comedic moments of this is when they're walking through the scene of when her team initially face the creature that he's there to hunt, and they all get destroyed. And he's looking around, she's looking around, she sees her legs, and she goes, "There I am." There.
Yeah. The legs just doing all of the action by themselves was fantastic for me. Like I just thought that was
Mhm.
it was the kind of action I enjoy. Like it was lighthearted and thrilling and still entertaining. Like it was
Yeah.
like seeing a predator, an alien dog, and a pair of legs walk into a bar. So, is there anything else you wanted to touch on with this movie? Oh, I actually have something.
Okay.
So you talked about the darkness of the opening of the movie with the Predator's father and his brother sacrificing himself, which is like a great prologue to the movie because you don't get the title card until he's crash landed on this planet, and then
like 20 minutes in.
yeah,
20 minutes.
and then like the movie happens, and then you have this prologue where he goes back and throws down the skull of the evil twin robot and confronts his father, and I was like, it was a great way to bookend the story that we just saw, and then kind of tease what's next if they continue with these characters.
Yeah. Which
but
I hope they do.
I hope they do too.
After seeing it, I hope they do.
I hope they do too, and I hope they end up teaming up with a frozen Jeff Goldblum that they have to thaw. Hell, bring back Harvey Fierstein. David, why did you send my mother to Atlanta? Like,
I think it would be funny if... Okay, so I would think this would be funny, personally. Reference Independence Day. They already did the skull. Get one of the core actors from the first movie back. I mean, obviously they're going to be older, so it's going to be an older character. Like, unfreeze them, have them be, like a Wayland Yutani, CEO, executive manager, someone, I don't know, mining employee, I don't care.
yeah.
They go out, they come across them, and have no reference to Independence Day, except for bringing things back from that movie, either in the background or bringing actors to play other characters.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be funny after having the skull in there is to have either Will Smith or Jeff Goldblum, specifically one of those two, come back and play like a semi-main character, or um, a cast character. Man, I'm forgetting the word right now. This is great. Live on the internet and I can't talk.
Yeah.
Supporting actor. There we go.
Okay.
Like being like a good supporting actor for whatever storyline they do for the second one. And with Jeff, and then personally, Will Smith has done enough space movies. Jeff Goldblum hasn't. So I
Mhm.
would like to see more of him in space. So I think him being kind of like a neurotic Wayland Utoni employee that is kind of like off on his own on like a research station alone, so he can just play into kind of like the craziness of the characters that
Yeah.
he can, that he can put into his characters, would be funny. And it would be great. Be like, okay, so in the first movie they're referencing the Harvester, in this one they got Jeff Goldblum, like, is this, and just do it that way.
And then the third one is just Bill Pullman giving a speech about the fight against
At some
the
point,
Predators.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
but
him is the current president and CEO of Wayland Utani giving like
President
like a quarterly announcement.
Thomas Whitmore the Fourth, like is a great grandson or something. Like,
Yeah.
That's all I have on Predator Badlands. I'm excited to see
Okay.
more of the Predator franchise. My biggest complaint about this movie is like I didn't need it the same year as Killer of Killers. Like I wish they had spaced it out a little bit more.
Well, I think if it was two live action movies, I would agree with you. I would have the same sentiment about it. But because one was animated and one was live action, I feel like that's like a different medium enough that it didn't
Okay.
like that never registered for me.
Okay.
But then I also have the majority of all the Predator stuff on hard copy media, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm also that person.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for this week's episode. Join us next week when we return, and I believe Devin returns as well because we're going to be talking about the Best Picture nominee Begonia, starring Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. This is a film that Ryan and I have both seen, but Devin has not, and we've both held off on talking about this until we get Devin here because we want to hear Devin's thoughts on this.
Mhm.
So it's going to be an interesting one. Make sure to tune in live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also listen to You Have to Watch This podcast on all major podcasting platforms. Until next time, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And we will see you next week. Ryan, are you proud that we did a whole Predator episode? I didn't do my Schwarzenegger voice at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think.
You're welcome. I did it.
So you're getting it all out now.